your humble servant is the best way to describe him, man. He wants to help people. I got a chance to go up there to New York City to interview him and his partner, Dr. Linda Isaacs, and they do treat the cancer with pancreatic enzymes very, very successfully. Nick shared with me a couple stories that blew my mind. He's got one lady that he actually talked to on the phone while I was there in his office that is pancreatic cancer patient that is 32 years out from diagnosis. 32.
That's unheard of. That's the deadliest of all cancers. Typical lifespan. What is it, a year typically?
Less than a year.
Less than a year,
Less than a year if you treat it conventionally. He's got a lady 32 years out. Dr. Isaacs has a lady that's 14 years out. Dr. Gonzalez has several others that are over 10 years out. It's just really amazing the success that they have had with that protocol.
Are they using the pancreatic enzymes for other cancers too, or is it just pancreatic cancer?
They treat all kinds of cancers, not just pancreatic. They've had a lot of success with pancreatic cancer, but Nick was telling me about a patient of his that's an invasive breast cancer, stage 4 invasive breast cancer patient, 26 years out using their protocol. So they use it on all different types of cancer.
So anybody can just go out and make an appointment to see Dr. Nick or Dr. Isaacs?
Yeah, I don't know how much. I don't know how much they're taking new patients at this point. I know they're really, really busy because they're so prominent in the field. But yeah, it's I think the only thing with Dr. Nick and Dr. Linda is that if you've gone through chemo and radiation, that's one of the things that they look at. I don't know that they take a lot of patients that have already gone through the traditional treatments because of the fact that they just devastate the immune system so much.
Got it. So somebody's newly diagnosed or with cancer, Dr. Nicholas Gonzalez would be somebody that they want to look into, at least his work.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one person that I would look at personally. He knows his stuff. I mean, the guy is just in a good way, in a loving way, because he's a good friend of mine. He's just a science nerd. He really is. He reads. His relaxing afternoon for him is to go read through medical journals. He's that kind of guy. I mean, that's how you have to be. Ty,
that's how you have to be, right? I mean, if you're going to be participating in healthcare, you got to be up. You got to love to be up on things. You got to be passionate about it, right?
Yes, and that's exactly the way that Dr. Nick and Dr. Linda are. They are up on things. Nick told me a story about Steve McQueen. You know, Dr. Gonzalez, he actually uses a protocol that was developed by Dr. Donald Kelly, who was a dentist in Dallas, as this pancreatic enzyme protocol. And Kelly was the one that was actually blamed for being the quack that killed Steve McQueen, if you remember this back in the 70s.
I do remember. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so anyway, Dr. Gonzalez told us the real story of what happened. And the bottom line is that the conventional doctors tried to treat his mesothelioma with radiation. And radiation there's not one case in the history of the world ever, that radiation has worked on mesothelioma. So they tried to do this. They devastated his immune system. He then went to Kelly. Kelly began to turn around his cancer. All his markers were down. His tumors were shrinking and or were necrotic. And they went in to take out one of the tumors, and he actually died from an aneurysm. So he did not die from the cancer treatment. He did not actually die from cancer.
He died from the radiation?
He died from an aneurysm that resulted from a surgery to take out the tumors that were actually necrotic. They were dead. They had dead tumors, and they were dead because Dr. Kelly's protocol was actually curing him of cancer. Wow. But Kelly got blamed as the quack that killed Steve McQueen, but the reality is the surgery killed him.
Right. Not surprising. So, G. Edward Griffin, I read his stuff all the time. I imagine he talked to you about the cancer industry, correct?
He did. He talked to me. It was really fascinating meeting Mr. Griffin. He's a big hero of mine, not only with his World Without Cancer book about vitamin B17, but also with The Creature from Jekyll Island. Right,
classic.
And so I had the privilege of meeting him in his home, met his wife and his assistant, Joan Hunter. She's a real fabulous lady that actually is she's having some issues now because of living next to a nuclear waste dump, and she's gotten some tumors because of that, and she's actually suing Boeing, who is dumping a bunch of nuclear waste. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But I met him at his house, and he did talk about the pharmaceutical industry, the cancer industry. He talked a lot about vitamin B17, Laetrile, and the research that he's done on that amazing treatment for cancer.
What's your take on Laetrile?
I think it's a great adjunct treatment, but it's not a standalone, and here's why. Laetrile is very good at killing cancer cells. It's the selective toxicity towards cancer cells. The cyanide and the benzaldehyde team up, and they're unlocked at the cancer cells with a poison or with an enzyme called beta-glucosidase, causes them to kill the cancer cells, and then the rhodonase, which is an enzyme in the rest of your body, causes that poison to turn into a natural pain-killing substance. It's really remarkable the way that it kills cancer cells. But it's not a good immunotherapy. So if you've gotten cancer as a result of having an immune system that's compromised, the Laetrile or the B17 will kill the cancer, but much the same way that chemotherapy will kill the cancer cells. If you don't do anything to correct the imbalance in the immune system, then you'll probably end up getting a recurrence of cancer. So that's why I always say, B17 is great, eat the apricot pits, but do something that's going to modulate your immune system, clean up your diet, do all these other factors as well, because you got to use a multi-pronged approach.
What's your take on the cause? I mean, I know you're not a medical professional necessarily, but you're just as well read as anybody else. What's your take on the cause? Is there an ultimate cause, in your opinion? Yeah, I mean, I think, and the American Cancer Society agrees with me on this, even though you don't hear this from conventional doctors, and even though the ACS is not the end-all for research, they actually have this posted on their website. There's a PDF document that's entitled Cancer Facts and Figures 2013 that's up on the ACS website. And it says that upwards of 95% of cancers today are caused by exposure to environmental toxicities, the lifestyle choices, radiation, those kind of things. Only 5%, according to this document, has any genetic factor. So we're looking at environmental causes, toxicities. That's what's causing our immune systems to be compromised, and that's what's resulting in cancer. Now, I wonder if 95% of cancers are caused by lifestyle issues, I wonder where chronic degenerative disease fits into that. Probably the same thing, no? I would think so. I would think it would fit into the same thing. I mean, look, Ben, when you look at 100 years ago, we have stories of doctors that would go see a cancer patient in the hospital and take their team of doctors with them and say, look, be sure that you look closely at this case because you might not see another case of cancer again. And then today it's 1 in 2 men, 1 in 3 women, man. That's crazy. Let's change the environment. We're talking to Ty Bollinger about his webinar series, The Truth About Cancer. If you're interested in joining, head over to pharmacistben.com. Click on the Truth About Cancer banner, and you'll go to a webpage where you can sign up to check out the Quest for the Cures webinar series. We'll continue with Ty Bollinger when we come back. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Brightside.
Many Americans suffer from poor digestion, which can adversely affect their health.
For you guys who have digestive issues, glutathione is amazingly important for inflammatory bowel disease, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, stomach cancer. The glands of the stomach produce lots of glutathione. So glutathione's got multiple roles to play, and one of the best ways to upregulate, to make more glutathione, is to take the building blocks, glycine being one of the most important of the building blocks for making glutathione. Your ultimate enzymes contain something called trimethylglycine. We know it as betaine. We talk about betaine as an important ingredient for acidification, for keeping the pH of the stomach nice and low. But betaine can also help you make glutathione.
Help your body build glutathione. Order Ultimate Enzymes by calling 866-735-2470. That's 866-735-2470, or on the web at brightsideben.com. That's brightsideben.com. Order today.
So we decided to upgrade the look of our home.
You know, improve the curb appeal.
We decided to add the look of stone to the exterior.
We really like the stacked stone look.
Yeah, but when I checked into the price, it was ridiculous. No way could we afford it.
Then a friend told me about Genstone. Genstone.
Genstone comes in lightweight panels made of polyurethane. They've actually engineered the hassle out of installation. No mortar, no mesh. It was easy. Even I could do it.
We just screwed the panels to the wall and it looks like stone. I mean, it really looks like stone.
Yeah, from the box to the wall in minutes.
We love the look of our home now.
And Genstone is durable, comes with a 25-year warranty, and offers additional R-value for insulation.
If you want the look of stone at a price you can afford, call Genstone
at 855-955-STONE.
Trust me, you'll save money.
And you'll love the look.
855-955-STONE. That's 855-955-7866.
I will never forget the day my son Jeremy told me he hated me and slammed the door in my face. I'm behavioral therapist Janet Lehman. Behavior problems can turn the child you love and your life into a nightmare. That's why my husband James and I created the Total Transformation, the step-by-step program that shows you how to fix the worst behavior problems and get your child to respect and listen to you again. No matter what the behavior, defiance, backtalk, angry outbursts, disrespect, we can help you stop it. Now you can get the Total Transformation for free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. You can keep it forever for free.
Limited number of free programs available. Call now. 1-888-912-1595. 1-888-912-1595. That's 1-888-912-1595. 1-888-912-1595.
Americans have always been ready to defend, to serve, and to honor those who defended and are defending all of us. So this month, the Freeze-Dry Guy honors and serves Americans with our meat, rice, and potato sale. Our unit includes 4 number 10 cans of quality Mountain House cooked diced beef, ground beef, diced chicken, white rice, and 2 cans of FDG dehydrated diced potatoes. 158 servings per case unit. And during the Freeze-Dry Guy's meat, rice, and potato sale, get 1 case for only $1.79, 2 cases for only $3.55, or get 3 cases for only $5.15. And all come with lots of valuable freebies. For details, click freezedryguy.com and hurry. Sale ends soon. Go to freezedryguy.com or call 866-404-3663. That's 866-404-FOOD. Plus free shipping to the lower 48 states from the Freeze-Dry Guy. The finest freeze-dried and dehydrated foods available anywhere for long-term storage.
Not just an alternative to the mainstream media. We're the premier independent talk radio network. We are G's.
All right, we're back on the Brightside talking to Ty Bollinger about the quest for the cures, the first ever investigative report documentary miniseries on cancer. Ty went around the country interviewing all kinds of cancer-fighting heroes, Mike Adams and Dr. Nicholas Gonzalez and Linda Isaacs, G. Edward Griffin, Burton Goldberg. I've been reading Burton Goldberg stuff for many years, for 20-plus years. He must be 90 years old or something, Burton Goldberg.
You know, yeah, Burton, actually, he's 87. And, man, I tell you what, I hope I have the energy and the enthusiasm and the passion that he does at 87. His was a really, really good interview. Boy, he gets really upset when he starts talking about the way that they're withholding treatments from people and basically killing people by not giving them information that they needed to properly treat cancer. I love Burton.
That's awful. He used to live in Aspen. He's not in Colorado anymore, is he?
I think he's up in San Francisco now. I think he's in the San Francisco Bay Area.
All right, so let's talk some logistics here. If somebody wants to, well, first of all, Ty, before you get into that, what would your recommendation be? Somebody's diagnosed, God forbid, with cancer. What's the first thing they should do?
Just what I tell people generally is that if you're diagnosed with cancer, and, of course, I have to do this with a caveat that I'm not recommending anything because I'm not a doctor. But I'll always tell them, look, I'm not recommending anything, but if it were me in your situation, you've most likely been diagnosed because of some kind of lifestyle choice. So you need to figure out what that is, and it's not always. I mean, a lot of times it is, but not always. But you need to figure out if it's because of a poor diet that you've been eating. It may be exposure to radiation or electromagnetic frequencies from where you're living. If so, you need to move. You look at and try to find the cause. And there may be multiple causes, but you need to clean that up. Most people, probably I'd say 90% of people, need to clean up their diet immediately. Because even though doctors are not going to tell you that diet has anything to do with cancer, your nutritional choices, it actually does. It has a big part to play in the cancer equation. So you need to clean up your diet, and you need to start detoxifying your body, and you need to build your immune system so they can do what it's supposed to do. Those are 3 big steps. And if people do that, if they can clean up the diet, begin to exercise, begin to sweat, begin to detoxify, and then build that immune system, they got a really good chance at beating cancer. And this is an epidemic, Ben. It's something that's going to face, according to the American Cancer Society, in that same document that I referred to earlier. They say that 1 in 2 men alive today and 1 in 3 women are going to face a cancer diagnosis. So this is an epidemic. And so you need to be prepared with knowledge for when that diagnosis comes. And, one of the most important things, though, to start with is to clean up that diet, especially when we're talking about processed foods, Ben, because of the genetically modified organisms.
Did anybody talk about any of your interviewees talk about caloric restriction?
Yeah, absolutely. Casey Krejci, who's a good buddy of mine, he owns livingfuel.com. He's out in California. That's one of his pillars for overall health and well-being is calorie restriction while getting
adequate
nutrition.
Yeah. That's I would have to say, in my opinion, from a physical perspective, that is the single most effective strategy for longevity, as well as fighting degenerative disease and cancer. We eat too much food. We eat way too much food. We're the starving obese.
Way too many calories and too little nutrition.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's a lot of marketing interests and food processor interests and industrial